Revenge is a dish best served 1 year later. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Sun Devil Nation, it's time to meet us on Mill because your Arizona State Sun Devils dominated, crushed the San Diego, I just completely forgot their name, and we're starting strong, the Toreros, baby. Come on, 8-1, who cares? Beat them 90-53. Hello and welcome in to PHNX Sun Devils live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading that Circle K app today. Terms and conditions do apply. Our participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details, and I'm struggling. I might need to calm down. Give me a neutral, because of course this episode of PHNX Sun Devils also powered by Neutral, keeping it tasty in Tempe. And our PHNX crew, they're buying everybody neutrals for free. And the fans that are in attendance for Saturday's Big 12 Championship watch party at Gila River Resorts and Casinos Wild Horse Pass. Check GoPHNX.com for more details. We got LTC, Sharon, Austin, Short Bus, BC, JJ, all in the chat celebrating another Sun Devil victory. We got a packed show, by the numbers, bottle service, a free Die Hard membership giveaway. But first, we have a very, very special guest, a good friend of mine, ESPN Plus play-by-play voice of your Arizona State Sun Devils, not just for basketball, but for so much more. Cronkite alum, also voice of the Valley Suns, a man who's comfortable in mullet and in DFA. It is Braiden Bell. Braiden, how you doing?
Dude, I got to match your energy. I could use a neutral right now after watching that game. I mean, that was a party, and the Sun Devils popped off, so I'm doing great. I know we all are.
I mean, I'm at the point where, Braiden, I might just need you to Uber on over here and get in studio so we could party. Okay, but seriously, obviously this was an inferior San Diego team, but of course the San Diego team that played spoiler to the Sun Devils last season, lost a couple key members, still put up a good fight in the first half of the first half. What was your biggest takeaway from a 90-53 victory for ASU?
I was doing the game with Kelly Burke, and I asked her, it was her first time watching ASU in person. I asked her, okay, what was your biggest takeaway? What impressed you the most? And she said how explosive they are. And it is actually jarring to me. I know we've both watched every game, and I'm sure most people watching have as well, how noticeable it is how much Jayden, Quaintance, Joson, Sanon, and really the entire group, but specifically those two, how much better they've already gotten in 9 games. Like, think of, not even Idaho State will take that away. Think of the second game of the year. What game was that? Cal Poly? No, it was St. Thomas, maybe. I think it was St. Thomas. And you think of that game, right, to where we are right now. I mean, Quaintance made a couple of blocks tonight that I've never seen blocks like that. The one that he swatted like a volleyball spike into the front row. And then the other one where he's laying on his backside on the baseline, stands up in one fluid motion and swats a shot with his left hand. The guy is unbelievable. So there's so many pieces to this team. They're only going to continue to get better with time. You're exactly right. Vibes are high. Vibes are freaking high, man. It is so much fun to watch this team.
Sorry, vibes are high. I have to correct you. Santa Clara, game number 2. St. Thomas, Santa Clara, it's the same thing. Who cares? Devs won either way, but you are 1,000% right on these freshmen. And it was something after, the Idaho State game that I was very critical after that game because I said they just had to play better as a team. Like, that was just not an acceptable performance. You have to beat teams that are worse than you, and you have to do it convincingly if you're going to compete in the Big 12. And that's exactly what you did tonight. Let's talk about the freshmen. I want to start with Jayden Quaintance because he might be my favorite defender that I've watched in ASU basketball history. And again, we're talking about a team that's 9 games into the season, right? And Quaintance, the sit down block, the way that he just alters shots as well, the ones that don't come in blocks, his closeouts on threes. And tonight, I think the most important thing that you saw from Jayden Quaintance, Braden, was the fact that he was aggressive towards the rim. Multiple monster jams, offensive rebounds, brushing everybody off. If he can continue to develop that and get better, like you mentioned, this is an all Big 12 type of player.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, defensively by himself, he's got to be one of the best interior defenders, forgetting the Big 12, in the country. His timing, his hands. I mean, we said it on the broadcast tonight. His hands are as big as Shaq's, okay? The guy's 17. He has a size 19 shoe. He's going to get taller than 6'9" if you base those two facts into where the rest of his body will grow in terms of his height. So he's going to get bigger with time. He's going to have to be in college for one more year because he won't turn 18 until July. But a couple of things you can't teach defensively. Timing, and that's why he's such a great shot blocker. His timing is impeccable. Yeah, thumbs up. All right. Timing, big time, right, is great. And his hands. His hands are excellent, whether that's down low in the post, catching a no-look find from Alston Mason, or in terms of coming out on the wing like we saw over the weekend, poking a ball free, dribbling the ball up the floor, and then posterizing someone in transition. His hands are unbelievable as well. He's so much fun to watch because he has those two attributes, which is hard for any big guy to come by, but especially when you're 17 years old.
Well, the 17-year-old part of it is really what gets to me right now because, like you mentioned, you can't teach instincts. But at the same time, it feels like his instincts are continuing to get better because he feels more comfortable, right? I still feel like we're not at the point where we've seen even close to what this kid can be this season. And if he does come back to Arizona State next season, which you hope he does when he sees success this season, right? I mean, you're talking about somebody who could be a top 10 draft pick. I don't really have any problem saying that because the things that you can't teach, he has. And understandably, he's limited offensively. I know in high school, he spread his game out, took some jump shots. That's clearly not a part of his game consistently, but you've seen flashes here and there of just a little bit more touch. But I don't care about the touch right now. I want you to continue to develop your aggressiveness, using your body, driving into the paint, because there's another freshman with plenty of touch to go around, and that is the man that some people are deeming the best shooter they've seen play in a Sun Devil uniform. I mean, this is high praise, Braden, for Joson Sanon as well.
He's a walking bucket, man. And Bobby said on Monday, so yesterday in his presser, he's surprised when a shot doesn't go in. So am I. And so is this crowd. He finally missed a three down the stretch in the second half, and there were oohs and ahs of like, wow, in amazement that he missed a three. The guy is incredible. You know, we talk about his three-point shooting, and that is to be marveled at, obviously. But he's got it from all three levels. He can drive inside. He can be aggressive attacking the basket. He's solid at the mid-range. That is not a lost art for Joson. And then obviously from three-point range, he's nearly automatic, shooting well over 50% from three-point range as a freshman in his first 9 games. So it's a larger sample size as well. The other thing for me, too, that you could talk about Joson in this aspect, you could talk about B.J. Freeman in this aspect, you could talk about Bashir Jihad in this aspect, he's unselfish. He decided to take his role coming off the bench. And since he's done that, he's been averaging 20 points a game. So it doesn't matter whether he's in the starting lineup or coming off the bench. I think Arizona State is not going to abandon him coming off the bench because obviously it's working at such a high clip. And that is a weapon that not many teams in the country can have, of a guy that shoots that well and is essentially averaging 20 points per game since he's done that. That is a weapon that Arizona State or many other teams haven't had in a long time, to be able to have that kind of a scorer coming off the bench.
Well, it's a blessing. You're right to have somebody so talented be willing to come off the bench and clearly buy into his role, because I asked a couple games ago, just what we were watching, I was like, how long will this go on if he continues to cook? It feels like this is the recipe and he's perfectly fine with it because you're getting your numbers. Not to be Mr. Suns guy over here, it's reminiscent of Devin Booker at Kentucky. Clearly a good enough player to be playing starting basketball for a good team, but is coming off the bench just because of how the fit is and embraces your role and becomes a silky smooth shooter. I mean, I'm not going to call him Devin Booker, but he certainly also has lottery pick potential. But one of the things that you mentioned, I do want to touch on before you go, is everybody else too, because it's so easy to get caught up in the flash of these 5-star freshmen. But Bashir Jihad continues to be an incredible, consistent force for this team. B.J. Freeman, Amir Ali, another freshman throwing in there. Alston Mason continues to play monster minutes despite putting up, not so monster stats, but he has an impact. Who among, I don't want to call them the other guys, but the non-5-star freshmen have caught your eye through 9 games?
That's the hard part, dude. Is like, I don't really. It's a different guy every night. It can be a different guy every single night. Like Alston tonight didn't have his best night offensively, but you know he can pop off for 16, 18 on any given night. And he's done a really good job of taking care of the basketball, not turning it over at the point guard spot. And he has that even kill personality that will travel into tough environments in the Big 12. Jihad has kind of stepped into that role of like, okay, he's that scoring punch, right? He's that stretch forward that can really dominate down low. He can rebound. He can also step out, hit a three. BJ Freeman, I think he's going to continue to get better and better as time goes on. I think, and you didn't even say this guy's name when you were just going through that list, Adam Miller's already hit some big shots for this team. When you think about the Cal Poly game, that upset scare, he hit a couple of big threes to push that game away. Think about this past weekend, New Mexico, St. Mary's. Adam Miller was that guy when they needed a three or they needed a bucket. He stepped up. He's a senior. He's experienced. He's a returner. He understands the program. He understands the culture. I'm not saying he's going to be like a leading scorer, but I think he's kind of a glue guy for this team. I really do. He's a mature guy. He's an experienced guy, and I think he's going to be important going forward.
So ironically enough, we mentioned the Sanon role. I got so much guff from Toe Tree, from Shane in the offseason. I gave a starting lineup that had Adam Miller coming off of the bench in place of Joson Sanon. Basically, this starting lineup, Bashir, Sanon, Quaintance, Freeman, and Mason. And it wasn't in the fact that it was a demotion for Adam Miller, but almost envisioning him in the same sense of Sanon, somebody who comes off the bench, brings a scoring punch. But, like you mentioned, a glue guy, somebody who has kind of just a good understanding of this team and what needs to be done. And I'm perfectly fine with how it shook out because clearly it's the right formula with what Sanon is doing and the strings that Bobby's pulling. But you're right. He seems to be there when needed. And I think there are some people who talk about, he doesn't move as much on offense. He's not doing as much out there. I think what you saw last year with Adam Miller was he was asked to do too much. I think this year he understands that he doesn't need to do that. He doesn't need to overexert himself. And it feels like everybody on this team so far, Braden, is slotting into these roles nicely. And let's end with giving some credit to Bobby Hurley and what he's been doing to get this team together, because this was a team full of transfers, young players that started off the season with a lackluster win over Idaho State. And progressively, it's not just the freshmen that have gotten better. It's the whole team, and you have to give Bobby credit for that.
You have to give Bobby credit for that. We got to give Bobby credit for the technical tonight because he got the technical and the team turned it up. That's the same thing that happened the other weekend. He took the tie off, so I'm going to take mine off too. We're going to celebrate, right? We're what, 9-1 now? They played they played DJ Khaled. What's the song? Why can't I think of this right now?
All I do is win.
Why can't
no
I think of that right
what?
now? Because that's all the Devils have been doing. So we're going tie off.
Oh my goodness! I mean, what a pleasure this is.
Come on.
Do you guys know how rare it is to get cut loose Braiden Bell now? I mean,
Come on, boys.
PHNX Sun Devils exclusive right here. Braiden Bell is just, kicking his feet up out at DFA. Braden, what are your closing thoughts on this team? Do you think the Devils should be ranked? And
Yes.
a follow-up, will they be ranked?
They should be ranked. And if you looked at many of the quote-unquote experts, right, Andy Katz, Fanta of the world, Jeff Goodman, they all had the Devils ranked this past weekend. Their strength of record is 13th. Their RPI is 33rd. They have beaten good teams. This was their lone game against a quad four so far in San Diego. They're maybe going to play one more the whole year. That's UMass coming up in a couple of weeks. I don't think they'll probably be ranked just because they don't play now for 11 days. So unless teams in front of them keep losing, like if UConn loses again, I know the Hurley family probably doesn't want that to happen, but they play Gonzaga in a couple of days, or a couple of weeks, I should say, so that could end up happening. Like, I think when they get to Florida, they might be in at 25, but if you beat Florida, who's a really good team, 13th in the country right now, you're going to be in the teens, and then you take care of UMass, you would assume, and then you're going to start your conference play at BYU, which is going to be 16,000 screaming, annoying BYU fans, which we now know they might be the most annoying
BYU fans that are massive fans of Arizona State at the moment.
They'll have several signs of Kenny Dillingham.
I'm sure. Yeah, hopefully they just don't record in their own locker room. But the way that I feel, Braden, is this is a team that's going to kind of have to work their way into the top 25. I don't believe that
Put the monitors away.
I do not believe that they're going to get the benefit of the doubt, and so I think they're going to just be on the road, not on the road, on the edge of the 25, and then if they beat Florida, they're in. It's control your own destiny type of stuff.
I actually, it's funny, we were talking to Bobby earlier at shoot around, and he didn't flat out say this, but if you guys remember, the last time ASU was ranked, what happened right after? The 40-point drubbing at San Francisco.
Yep.
So I think this coaching staff, Bobby, at this point of the year, they're fine not being ranked. Just keep winning basketball games. You're in the best conference in the country, most likely, along with the SEC, I guess. If you win games, you're going to get respect now by the end of the season. So, yeah, you might not be ranked. It's December 3rd. You know, like, it really doesn't matter. I don't think Bobby's tripping. It's fun for us. It's fun for fans to see the number by the name. I was hoping it would happen selfishly going into this week. But I don't think it's of any concern of anyone in the locker room at all.
No, it's all focused forward. Just win games. Again, you're in the Big 12, like you mentioned. If you continue to win, you will be in the top 25. Braden, we're going to say goodbye. Obviously, stuff is getting packed up over there at DFA.
Yeah, look at this. Hold on. Shout out to the crew. I mean, we're
big
putting
time.
things away. Yeah.
Well, shout out to Braden for sticking around late after putting in a hard day's work. You can find him at Braiden Bell PxP, also the voice of the Valley Suns, voice of your Sun Devils on ESPN Plus. Give him a follow. Thank you, Braden, for joining us. Have a good rest of your night.
All right, my man. Appreciate you.
All right, everybody, make sure you go follow Braden. Now we're gonna chill it out a little bit, a little less noise going on over here. But we love Braden, known Braden for a long time. Very good at what he does. Also very good. Your Arizona State Sun Devils. So many of you in here right now. JJ, LTC, Dallas, William, Alexander in there too. Alexander says we'll never forget the USF game. I know, man. That was one of those games that you just sat back and you're like, is this real life? Like, is this really what's going on here? We have so much more. We have by the numbers, bottle service, aftertaste, closing time, a die-hard giveaway. We have so much to get into, but first we will be taking just a quick break. It's a rare sighting here on PHNX Sun Devils. Your boy's not wearing a Brandon Bills hat. In fact, I'm not wearing any hat, and that's because I'm in that nice space, the 2-3 days post haircut, that I'm not wearing a hat. But I promise you, I'm a hat guy through and through, and that's why I love Branded Bills. I'll be rocking Branded Bills out in Dallas when we were boots on the ground for the Big 12 championship game, and I suggest you rock Branded Bills as well. You can elevate your brand with their snapbacks, truckers, fitted beanies, and tees. Branded Bills has you covered with performance and style, and you can get your own custom branded bills as well, like we do at PHNX. We have a pre-sale right now of PHNX Branded Bills crossover/collab hats, and you can do that with your own company too. They have partnerships with ASU. They also do U of A, but who really cares? And they're a local company out of Mesa, Arizona. I know I'm always rocking my Branded Bills. I like to wear hats all the time, basically anywhere I can get away with wearing a hat, and there's just no other feel to them. Like they don't feel like any other hat I've ever had. Head to brandonbills.com. Use code PHNX for 20% off your first order. And we are flying over to Dallas, but I know if we were driving, we would be making plenty of stops at Circle K because thirst has met its match over at Circle K. And if you're not already a member of the Inner Circle, to be honest with you, I don't know what you're doing. I mean, Circle K supports Sam Levitt. They support the Arizona State Sun Devils. You should support them as well. Join the Inner Circle. Save some money. If you're not a member yet and you join, you get 25 cents off per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups, 3 cents off per gallon every day on unlimited fill-ups after that. Eventually, it moves up to 5 cents off per gallon. But no, not just deals on gas. You get deals on so many different goods, whether it's drinks, whether it's snacks, whatever it is. Circle K is here for you. But I don't even need to tell everybody here because I know everybody here has already joined the Inner Circle because it takes less than a minute. You could have done it in the time that it took me to read this ad. And I know that so many of you are already saving money with Circle K. So join the Inner Circle app for free by downloading that Circle K app today. Terms and conditions do apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for more details. Once again, want to say thank you to everybody in the chat right now. I want to say thank you to Captain Redbeard, who every time that I host, I don't know what it is, I just completely forget to bring up Captain Redbeard. Captain, how we doing at the front of the ship? Double show day today.
Yeah, we're sailing, man. Ships sailing. Smooth seas right now for ASU.
Very smooth seas.
We'll see on Saturday, but basketball teams pulling out wins. So
I mean, we took a quick pit stop, right? We were on the course to Dallas. We just made a quick pit stop on the way, talk a little basketball, and we'll go from there. We'll check in more with Captain Redbeard for aftertaste later. I want everybody in the chat right now to let me know who your pick with bottle service would be. But in the meantime, let's get to By the Numbers, presented by Desert Financial Credit Union, Arizona's #1 credit union, named by Forbes. Let's take a quick look at this one here in just a second, because Captain Redbeard is scurrying because I put him in a position where he wasn't ready for it and I wasn't ready for it either. So continue to let us know who you have as bottle service. As now we take a look at the numbers presented by Desert Financial Credit Union. Of course, the only number that matters, as Anthony Totri would say, 90-53, the final score. Arizona State dominates San Diego. Joson Sanon with 19 points as a leading scorer. Bradley Jr. with some crazy shots. 15 points leading scorer for San Diego. Field goal percentage 28-57 from the field for ASU. That's good for 49%. They were suffocating on defense. San Diego 21-63 for 33%. Also red hot from three. Your Sun Devils were 12 of 23, good for 52%. How about that? On the polar opposite end, 2 of 19, 11% from three for San Diego. And second half points, this is where they flip the switch. 50-20, you're able to get your head on straight at the end of the first half. You're able to go on a big run, and from there, you were able to continue to do what good teams do, and that was dominate the teams that you are supposed to dominate. And that's what I was looking for. That was definitely my biggest key going into tonight, because this is not the same San Diego team that Arizona State lost to last year. And Arizona State still should have beat San Diego on the road last year. We all blame Shane Diefenbach for that one. That's why he was not in attendance today, because he was in attendance against San Diego last year when that terrible loss happened. But this is a team that was not returning their 3 top scorers from that Arizona State game last year. But you saw when they first showed up, they're a well-coached team. They got off to a hot start, and ASU looked completely disorganized on offense. They felt like they really didn't have a game plan at all. And I started to get this feeling. I was like, man, obviously, this is a good team. This is a team that has competed against Gonzaga on the road, and their lone loss of the season. They've beaten other good schools in some tough matchups. Of course, St. Mary's, New Mexico, and the Acrisure Classic. Grand Canyon's a decent team. Santa Clara is a decent team. This is a good basketball team. But I was going into tonight, and I was saying this beforehand, I needed a 20-25 point win. Because if you're going to compete in the Big 12, if you're going to be able to be in the top 25 consistently and eventually make it to the tournament, and not just the last 4 in, right? But in the tournament, maybe win a game or two, you have to be able to take care of business against the teams that you are clearly better than from a talent perspective. And of course, that is San Diego. I do want to remind everybody, we're giving away a free Die Hard membership. I am putting and by me, I mean Kyle, is putting the link in the chat to this tweet. Make sure you tag your friends on that tweet to see exactly who is going to get that. We are going to do that at the end of the show. Of course, we are donating that because of one of our own diehards, Sharon, is giving her own money to get somebody in on our $36 deal. If you missed that one, be on the lookout in case of future opportunities with PHNX diehard sales at PHNX_sports, at PHNX_Sun Devils. If you are looking to possibly get in line with some new deals in the future, unfortunately, you've missed that 36 for 36 for now, but always great deals. And we thank all of our new diehards. I know there are a lot of new faces in there, and there will be another new face after tonight. JJ in the chat talking about the swings, and of course, a big part of that was the freshman. I touched on it with Braden. I want to get into it just a little bit more here, because this team's ceiling goes as these freshmen go. I'll also talk about Bashir Jad. Also talk about BJ Freeman. Also talk about Alston Mason. Also talk about Adam Miller. Also talk about Sean Phillips. But the reality is, if this team wants to hit their peak, if this team wants to hit their ceiling, you need Jayden Quaintance and Joson Sanon to play like they did tonight and continue to get better. Jayden Quaintance, I've been saying it since game number 1, has the defensive instincts and ability of a top 10 draft pick for any NBA team. I'm going to be honest with you. At 17 years old, I don't know if I've ever seen a better defender. Like this guy is absolutely insane. And I know you can look at the counting stats, and it's actually very tempting to look at the counting stats. But at the same time, you can look so far beyond that with Jayden Quaintance, because it's not just about what deflections you get or your 5 blocks and 1 steal. I mean, 6 stocks is insane, but I still don't think that it covers his true defensive impact. He's altering shots. People are afraid to shoot on him, and his insane wingspan, especially on closeouts, on 3-point shooters, just is a nightmare to deal with. At the same time, I don't know if I've seen a smoother player than Joson Sanon. I mean, this is somebody who clearly could be starting on this team. And I think it's very impressive that somebody who was also deemed to, be maybe a little bit of a selfish player when he left Arizona, looking for more of an opportunity for himself. Maybe some saying he was promised a starting spot, which is why he left the University of Arizona to come to Arizona State. I think it's just a massive testament to his character. Usually you see shot-first guards that are so young and so talented not want to accept any roles because they feel like it diminishes their power, because it diminishes, maybe their future prospects to make it to the NBA. But what Sanon understands is that as long as he shows what he's been showing as far as natural scoring ability and then adding everything else, William in the chat bringing up the monster block, he has good defensive instincts as well. If he can get better in the passing game and a little bit better, just finding those moments where it can be pure takeover mode. And I know that he's gone on a couple streaks of that, but if he can really settle in on that, I mean, we are talking about somebody that, just like Jayden Quaintance, lots of NBA teams are going to have their eyes on. And if you can continue to get better around them with your transfers, with your now a decade-long head coach in a Power 5, now Power 4 level in Bobby Hurley, I mean, it's a recipe for success. And honestly, it gets you excited about the future of this specific season. I know that we want to just jump to next year for Jayden Quaintance, or what's going to happen, is Joson Sanon going to go to the NBA? I'm thinking how much better these guys are going to get in the next 11 days before they play Florida. And in order for them to get better, it's everybody else around them that has to get better as well. And before I get to them, I'm going to punctuate our discussion on Jayden Quaintance and on Joson Sanon. And that is why I am naming them dual bottle service. I saw a couple of you call it in the chat. 29 points, 11 of 16 from the field for Sanon and Quaintance combined, but also combined eight stocks. 8 stocks. Obviously, Quaintance getting the lion's share of that was 6, but a block and a steal from Sanon as well. This team will go as deep as they want in the playoffs if these two can continue to play at such a high level come March. But there are so many other people that we need to give credit to. We saw Bobby Hurley Jr. get some minutes today. Of course, we're not going to talk too much about him, but the other guys, Austin Mason, Bashir Jihad, BJ Freeman, Adam Miller throwing there as well. Amir Ali still getting some decent run as well, even though he had a poor shooting night. We are going to get to all of this later, along with the Die Hard giveaway, along with Aftertaste, along with closing time, and yes, oh yes, with the Bobby board as well. Make sure you guys are dropping a like in here. Make sure you've checked out our football show from earlier in the day with Anthony Totri and with Ralph Amsden, and we will be back just after another short break. I just talked about the ceiling when it comes to your Arizona State Sun Devils. How about the floor? Well, I don't want to think about the floor, but I do want to think about Empire flooring, because nobody does it better than Empire today. It is easy, it is quick, it is convenient, but it is so much more than that at Empire today. They want to get you the right flooring as quickly as possible with the best customer service. And what I'm about to say next might come off as a shock, but they refuse to guarantee you the lowest price. And you might ask yourself, well, what kind of marketing is that? Well, it's the marketing of a company who cares about quality, cares about putting flooring in your home that they would put in their home as well. And anybody who's promising you the lowest price on something as important as flooring is not putting flooring in your home that they would put in theirs. And Empire today, they still want to have you save some money. Schedule your free in-home estimate today, and all listeners of PHNX Sun Devils can receive a $350 off discount when they use promo code PHNX. Some restrictions do apply. See EmpireToday.com/PHNX for details. Also want to remind everybody about the wonderful things going on over on the west side with Chicken and Pickle. very, very, very diverse place for you. Whether it's a date night, maybe you're trying to get to know somebody for a first date, maybe you're trying to spice it up, go out for a night on the town with somebody you've been with for a long time. Chicken and Pickle provides so many different things, whether it's their indoor or outdoor pickleball courts, which get that outdoor pickleball playing in while you can, or whether it's their chef-driven restaurant or their 2-story bar, or all the TVs that they have to watch whatever sporting event is on that day. You have it all at Chicken and Pickle, which is why it's perfect for family get-togethers, friend get-togethers. Maybe you're just trying to get a little exercise in. Maybe you're just trying to go pick up pickleball. Do all of that at Chicken and Pickle. It's a great place that we hold our events, and they are just so wonderful. The food is delicious. You can head to chickenandpickle.com to see all the fun you can have at their Glendale location, and remember to sign up for the second edition of the PHNX pickleball tournament going down in December. We are back here on PHNX. Sun Devils, thank you all for being here. Alexander Zer says 5 booms. I do a pretty good Costco guys impression. I don't know if I'm going to get to it, but I just want to throw that out there if it is intriguing to anybody. Captain Redbeard, have you heard my Costco guys impression?
I have, actually.
What do you think of it?
I think it's a little obnoxious, but I like it. Gets me fired
that's
up.
kind of their brand, is it not?
Yeah.
Kate in the chat. Kate, I know you've been trying to be a diehard. We're working on it. Kate, I do have your name entered in our free diehard giveaway. We are going to get that sorted. We're going to get that figured out. Even if you don't win the free diehard giveaway tonight, we're going to make sure that you're able to sign up there. Make sure you keep emailing that ALLCITY email, and we will figure it out. I've been passing your information along. Have no idea what's going on with that, but we appreciate you in there. Sharon is the diehard that is making it possible for us to give away a free diehard membership tonight. Make sure y'all show Sharon that love, because our diehard Discord is popping, and a big part of that is Sharon, our OG diehards as well. So many of you in there that have seen this grow together through this football season, through last football season, last basketball season. Guess what? We are on to our winning ways right now, and I want to continue talking about the winning ways that the people around the 5-star freshman were able to do. I want to specifically start with Bashir Jihad, because I tweeted this. When Bashir Jihad is going, there is an extra element to this team that is incredible, because his combination of size, his length, his ability to draw fouls, stretch the floor out from a power forward perspective, but also play good interior defense because of his size. It's actually a pretty rare combination to have. Bashir Jihad shot 11 free throws tonight. He had the same number of free throws as he had field goals. 8 of 11 from the line, 1 of 1 from 3, 5-11 from the field in 21 minutes, 19 points. The tied for the leading scorer was Sanon, and Bashir Jihad, 5 rebounds, an assist, a steal, a block to go over there as well. Only 1 foul for him, only 1 turnover too. I mean, you saw so much of the offense going through Bashir Jihad, and he continues to get better too. I think an underrated aspect in all of this, and I talked about it with Braiden Bell, ESPN Plus play-by-play voice for your Sun Devils, at the beginning of the show, in case you missed it. But this is a team that showed they needed a lot of time to gel with all these transfers and moving parts, with the freshmen as well. It took a lot for everybody to get on the same page. It's hard. And if they continue to get better, Alston Mason is in that conversation as well. He played a team-leading 32 minutes tonight. I don't have the official stat. I do believe he's leading the team in minutes. He's always playing a ton of minutes. Only 9 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds from him, but that is the perfect type of guard that you need with so much offensive talent around you. You surround Alston Mason with shooters like Joson Sanon, BJ Freeman, Adam Miller, Bashir Jihad, inside presence of Jayden Quaintance, who was 5 for 5 from the field, including some massive dunks tonight. Sean Phillips Jr. as well. He's been giving some good minutes. 8 rebounds in 18 minutes. He's doing his job. You surround Alston Mason with all of this offensive scoring talent. He has shown he keeps his head on straight. He's able to dish the rock out. He makes some really good passes, and he scraps on defense as well. You really want to give him a lot of love. And BJ Freeman has been the epitome of solid. Shout out JJ, who's in football shows, just dropping BJ Freeman left and right, left and right. We love all of them. I know Amir Ali, I want to see a little bit more efficiency from Amir Ali, 1 of 5 from the field in 16 minutes. However, what I love, and this is something that you can't teach, and we talked about defensive instincts with Quaintance. We talked about instincts offensively with Sanon and his ability defensively as well. You cannot teach the hustle. You cannot teach the drive, the want. And Amir Ali, who you would think is a skilled finesse guy, when he was 1 of 5 from the field, he grabbed 6 rebounds, 2 of those offensive rebounds, and dished out 4 assists. Coming off the bench, that is exactly what you need from somebody who understands his role. He's not going to be your leading scorer on this team. He's not going to be your go-to guy, but he's going to give you hustle and grit and heart and energy. And if you don't think that that plays off of other people, especially when an 18-year-old is doing it, then that's just basketball. We do have some, I don't want to, bring this up. It pains me to bring this up, actually. We have some compliments for my haircut in the chat. We have one from a very biased person, but one I love so much. That, of course, is Megan. Says that I'm looking good with my haircut. And then Dallas asking me who cuts my hair. Slide in the DMs, my guy. No free ads, but I do appreciate the shout on that one. Of course, BC in here, William in here, Emily in here as well, MC too. We appreciate all of you guys. I want you guys to pitch in here. Out of the transfers, Alston Mason, BJ Freeman, Bashir Jihad, tell me who you think has been the biggest surprise so far this season. You got a little checklist. You're going to like this video. You're going to subscribe to PHNX Sports. And then you are also going to tell me who you think out of the transfers you've been surprised by the most. Because I thought that Bashir Jihad would definitely be an important piece on this team. But I certainly did not believe that an offense was really going to be run through him and Sanon permanently. I think there's been a good, diversion of points, 10 points to Quaintance, 10 points to Mason, 9 points to Adam Miller. And I think that's great. I didn't expect Bashir Jihad to be shooting 11 field goals and 11 free throws, and for me to be happy and okay with it. He has continued to show that his poise, some incredible footwork from Bashir Jihad as well. I thought he was really able to kind of not harness Hakeem Olajuwon, because that's a very, very ridiculously high bar, but have this type of control where it felt like he was thinking 2 or 3 counters away from what he was doing. And when you're playing in the post and when you have that type of touch and the ability to draw free throws, feeling like you're one step ahead of your opponent is basically half the battle in post-up points. And if you're in the NBA, you don't want to run your offense through post-ups, and for a certain aspect in college basketball too, but to have a reliable, tall, skilled player that you could throw the ball into and get a little finesse, get a post hook, get a little shimmy, maybe step out for a 3 after a pick and pop. So much diverse options for Bashir Jihad. And in all of that as well, I mean, only 1 personal foul for him. He played the lowest amount of minutes in the starting lineup. He only played 21 minutes tonight. The next closest was BJ Freeman and Jayden Quaintance, who played 25. Think about that type of efficiency. Think about that type of scoring output from Bashir Jihad in just 21 minutes. Sanon played 6 more minutes than him. Sean Phillips Jr. only 3 less minutes than him. William in the chat says, pleasantly surprised by Alston Mason so far, but disappointed in Austin Nunez. Yeah, it just doesn't seem like Austin Nunez is going to have a consistent role on this team, but the way that your guards are playing between the 3-headed monster and Alston Mason, Joson, Sanon, and of course BJ Freeman in there as well, Adam Miller in there, they kind of play that 2-3 role interchangeably. I don't know if there's much of a role for him right now, especially because Sanon deserves close to 30 minutes per game. And if you have somebody coming off the bench playing 30 minutes per game, that's going to take away another bench player's impact. But it feels like Bobby kind of found the right formula here. And I do wonder if this is exactly what Sanon's going to be, if he's going to continue to get more minutes off the bench. And if he does get more minutes, whose minutes comes down? Is it an Alston Mason? Is it an Adam Miller? Is it a BJ Freeman? Because at a certain point, if Sanon continues to average 20 plus points per game, if you're going to bring him off the bench like you have, you're going to just need to feed him the ball more, because he showed this in high school. He showed this when he was playing camps over the summer. When he gets going, when he gets into a rhythm, it's hard to stop him. You cannot put a hand in his face and alter his shot, because he will drain it. He is so much fun to watch. He's maybe the most fun player to watch on this team right now, and that's saying something when Quaintance is sending every shot into oblivion. It's so fun to have a formula, right? We came into the season, and at least me specifically with Bobby, I loved the offseason he had, right? The ability to put this team together through the transfer portal, to get these 5-star freshmen, and to be moving to a conference in the Big 12 that is heavily competitive in basketball, the best basketball conference in the country. And what I wanted to see after all of that was an elevation in coaching style for Bobby Hurley. And my biggest gripe, my biggest complaint was that the team never felt like it had an identity in so many years past for Bobby. It just felt like you rolled the ball out there offensively, you ran the Princeton offense, and you just got out of the way. And to me, that's not an identity. And it felt like at the beginning of this game, the Sun Devils didn't have an identity. But what I loved from them is that it clicked, right? It clicked because Jayden Quaintance was being so aggressive in the paint. It clicked because Bashir Jihad was able to draw fouls. It clicked because Sanon came off the bench knowing his role as a flamethrower. Everybody's role is defined. Everybody's purpose is defined. And in basketball, that's so important because you play off of each other so much with just 5 guys on the court. I love what Bobby Hurley is doing with pulling these strings. And I was watching the game, of course, vaunted U of A fan Damon Dog and his fantastic basketball program. He had a lot to say about the Sun Devils and mentioned, this is every non-con for Bobby Hurley. You do really well in non-con, then you get to conference play and you crumble. And, I felt like that was an unnecessary shot that was just, projecting. But I also understand what he's saying and the fact that this team will be tested in the Big 12 and you'll really know what they're made of once they get there. I think playing close against Gonzaga is great. I think pulling off close wins against good teams like New Mexico and St. Mary's in a very weird situation, 9:30 p.m. on Thanksgiving night, 7:30 p.m. on Black Friday night, again, in back-to-back days, which rarely happens in college basketball. The fact that they're able to pull off those close wins were impressive, but I think the most impressive thing for me was this game tonight, because not only did you end up winning by nearly 40 points, but you did it after being down double digits. You did it after falling out of your groove. And a team without an identity crumbles in that situation. A team just based off talent fights back and then lets the lead go again because your talent kind of washes up. Once this team clicked, once this team found their identity, once Sanon and Quaintance and Jihad and Freeman all found their spots in the game, it clicked for them. And it all clicked after that Bobby Hurley technical. I think all roads are leading back to Bobby Hurley. And if he continues to coach like this, ASU continues on this trajectory, he gets in the top 25, there will be no hot seat conversations for Bobby Hurley. There will be no, is he going to be coaching next year? Because he has proven with the amount of money that he's been able to get invested, the buy-in for this program when it was coming off one of its lowest points ever last season has been massively impressive. But at the same time, we now see what this team is capable of, right? Playing Gonzaga close, playing good teams and beating them close on the road in a neutral site, blowing out inferior teams, which is something you had not really done so far this season to this extent. But they did that. They are now checking off every single box that a top 25 team needs to check off. The last box they need to check is to be consistent with it. And if they are able to be consistent with it, well, then that proves that it is a new chapter for Arizona State University and their basketball program. So much more on this. We have closing time. We have the Bobby board. We have the Die Hard giveaway. But before that, before we hit an ad break, it is time for Aftertaste, as Anthony Totri calls it, the most sus segment in all of the All-City network. This is my first time asking the question. Totri usually writes the sus question that's asked, but it was my turn this time, Captain Redbeard. I want an honest opinion of if I match the sus level. Okay?
All right.
Captain Redbeard, ASU beat San Diego 90-53, moved to 8-1 on the season tonight. What was flung into your substance, sucker?
What was flung into my substance, sucker? Some hot wings.
Dang it, you took my answer.
Stick with me with this one.
Oh, I'm with you. I was with you before you said it.
I'm sorry. So basically, when you start eating some hot wings, like you dig in and then boom, it hits you like pretty much immediately. Like that level of spiciness and hotness that comes from those wings hits you right in the face. And that was this first half. I mean, come on. Like this first half was, left a lot to be desired. Going down a number of points. I don't know exactly, but they went down early. And that's, just getting hit in the face like a hot wing. And then after you keep eating them, they get better and better. And that's what happened in the second half. They came out, improved, and, it was 50-20 in the second half. So,
yeah,
just like some good hot wings, you eat them first. Like when you first eat them,
yeah,
they really hit you in the face. But then after you settle in, they start tasting a lot better.
I love you and I hate you, Redbeard. Because that was exactly my answer. They were down 17-5 with 11:45 left in the first half. Again, they were a quarter of the way through this game. They had scored 5 points. Then they outscored San Diego 35-16 to take a 40-33 lead into halftime. And then, of course, outscored 50-20. You're exactly right. And guess what? I'm not changing my answer because you were also right. Okay? This was spicy food that you thought was a little too spicy at first, even though you felt like you could handle it. But then once you settled in, it was good. I want to give William a shout out. He has a sus way to ask it. It says, what got thrusted into your tasting tube? Chat, let me know what was thrust into your tasting tube. What did this game taste like? I will read your comments and we'll be back with a Die Hard giveaway, closing time, the Bobby board, and so much more. But one final break first. ASU's had a tough schedule so far. You could say it's been a rugged road to 8-1 on the season, but luckily rugged road is not just describing ASU's schedule. It describes a wonderful cooler, a lightweight design, durable, dependable, versatile, and of course floatable as well. Kyle, a floatable upright cooler that is designed to keep everything cold for up to 7 days, which means, let's say it's football season and you're tailgating on a Saturday and you don't want to take any of your contents out. By next Saturday, it's still cold. The ice is still there, and maybe even beyond that as well. Rugged Road is perfect for your indoor, outdoor adventures, your parties, your hikes, your lake trips, your boating trips, whatever it is, a day by the pool. Rugged Road is here for you. Get ready for your adventures with the coolers. Head to ruggedroadoutdoors.com. Use code PHNX for 10% off your order. Lightweight, durable, always floating upright, perfect on land or in water. Leave that old heavy cooler at home. Get yourself a better cooler for a new season. Rugged Road, your ultimate outdoor companion. Here's a new one. This episode of PHNX Sun Devils is brought to you by the Fiesta Bowl. And isn't that something? As your Arizona State Sun Devil football team might be able to get into the Fiesta Bowl, and of course that is a local event here. The Verbo Fiesta Bowl will host the first playoff quarterfinal in history. That means the road to the College Football National Championship goes through Phoenix on December 31st at 5:30 p.m. Come early for New Year's Eve Fiesta that starts at 2:30 p.m. with FanFest pregame party, a block party leading to the big game, band performances, cheerleaders, fun games, food and beverages, and more. Don't miss the epic pregame FanFest block party featuring live entertainment, all of that fun stuff, and witness college football history, all while securing priority for future college football playoff games. All you have to do is join us in the first ever college football playoff quarterfinal at Verbo Fiesta Bowl. Buy your tickets, reserve parking, and premium experiences at fiestabowl.org/tickets. And of course, Viva Fiesta. Thank you, chat, for being here today. BC, LTC, William. If you missed it, we did have a football show earlier in the day. Ralph Amston, Anthony Totri getting you ready for the Big 12 Championship, which goes down on Saturday. A quick update on our schedule. We have a live show tomorrow at 1:30, a live show at Thursday at 1:30, a live show from the DLLS studios at 1:30 Arizona time on Friday. We will have a pregame show airing at 9:30 Arizona time for the Big 12 Championship on Saturday. And then, of course, a postgame show after the Big 12 Championship live from DLLS headquarters in Vegas. Okay, everybody, before we get to the Bobby board, before we get to closing time, it is time to give away a free Die Hard membership. I have everything, as I always do, put into my nice and trusty massive hat here. I'm going to do one last check on our PHNX Sun Devils account to see if anybody signed up last minute. There have been people who have been tagged under the tweet. There are people who have reached out to me via DM and tagged people. So if I pull somebody's name that has not responded under the tweet, that is because they DM'd me. Did I say in Vegas, William? We'll be in Dallas. I don't know if I said Vegas, thinking about Big 12 Media Day. Okay. I think they're talking about something else in there. Anyway, we are swimming around. We are picking in here. Ooh, who's it going to be, Kyle? Who is it going to be? A free Die Hard membership goes to at ASU__rad. That is the son of Res Devil. If you know him on social media, I will be reaching out to Res Devil. Of course, ASU Rad is a massive Arizona State fan. I'm sorry to all of our diehards who have been on the fence about becoming a diehard. If I did not pick you, I do apologize. It is random, it is fair, and ASU Rad will be getting the free diehard membership. I'll be in contact with Sharon after this. And remember, everybody, be on the lookout in the future for more deals like we had our $36 diehard membership. There will be some more in the future. Go ahead and check out at PHNX_sports, at PHNX_Sun Devils. Res Devil Jr., congratulations. You are our newest diehard for free. Appreciate all of you being in here. I am so sorry to those who did not get it, but of course, you can always become a diehard today at gophnx.com. Click on that Die Hard tab. I do want to remind everybody that we will be off for basketball until December 14th. No basketball games for 11 days, and it'll take on number 13 Florida. But before that, I believe it is time. Let's take a look at the Bobby board, which is adding another good Bobby face. Look at that. 8-1 on the season. The Duke loss doesn't count, even though it's on there just to make it even. You are now looking at a team whose only loss on the season is to Gonzaga on the road. What a resume for your Arizona State Sun Devils. Only loss coming to a 7-1 team who blew out Baylor. Baylor currently the 15th best team in the country, and ASU put up a better competition against Gonzaga than they did. Big shout out to the Sun Devils. Big shout out to Bobby Hurley as well. That Florida game will basically determine if ASU gets in the top 25. I expect them to be knocking on the door. I expect them to have consideration, maybe some heavy votes, maybe the most votes of a non-entrance into the AP top 25. So we will see if they're able to do that. I want you guys to let me know your final thoughts as we just get a little bit closer to closing time. But before I go, I want to talk about, let's see, Captain Redbeard, what do I want to talk about right now? What do you think's on my mind? Can you read my mind, Redbeard?
I have a really good idea.
Hit me.
The ranking.
The ranking?
The
AP top 25?
No, the ranking that came out today for ASU.
Oh, you're talking football?
Yeah.
Oh,
I know this is a basketball show, but
should I hit on a little bit of football now?
It's all ASU fans can think about right now.
I mean, that is fair. Okay, so I'll do this. I'll touch a little bit on football, but I also want what I'll do is I'll set the scene this way, right? Let's say we live in a world where ASU football is in the college football playoff, where ASU football wins the Big 12, or is it we're already in a world where they are competing for the Big 12 championship in the second year under Kenny Dillingham? Let's say on top of that, right, you win the Big 12 in volleyball, which you did. You are competing in the best hockey conference in the country, and I think competing is an understatement when you talk about hockey. You continue to have so many other sports that are excellent: swim and dive, golf, and then if you go on top of that, and you add a top 25 team in basketball, if you add on a team that is competing in the Big 12, beating good teams in the Big 12, there is an argument that Arizona State has the best athletics in the country. Seriously. Baseball's got to get it a little bit together. I have some more faith in them. I think they'll have a bounce back season. Softball as well. But football, basketball, volleyball, hockey, golf, swim and dive. I know our triathlon team has always been very good as well. Who's going to be doing it better? I mean, you have a chance to sit back and look at a moment in sports where fan funding, donor funding is such a massive part of staying consistently competitive. And I've always said, and I've always believed that the Arizona State fan base is basically a sleeping giant, because when Arizona State is successful, when the Valley has been activated like it has been with football, like it's starting to be with basketball, they're massive threats. They get some pretty big, pretty powerful donors. And if you are able to do that, you are able to get this influx and have coaches supporting other teams like Kenny does, like Bobby does, right? You're creating an ecosystem in modern day college athletics that probably cannot be replicated because you are full of people who care, people who invest in the sport. And even Williams says, give Graham a year with baseball. They'll be back. That's his baby. It's true. Graham Rossini used to play for ASU baseball, and you've seen the level of care he has for all of the sports, not just football and basketball, but of course, those are the ones that we tend to highlight. And he has massive, massive involvement in that and activating people, being active on social media with them as well. He's going to do that with baseball. They're going to get the funding. They're going to get the money. They're going to find a way to do it because you give credit to Graham. You got to give credit to Michael Crow. I know a lot of people don't want to give credit to Michael Crow, and I understand that based off of what happened in the past, but this is somebody who hired Kenny Dillingham. Massive win. This is somebody who helped ASU's athletic department eliminate their debt so that they could offer people more money and operate with more money. The ASU institution that is their education assumed the debt of the Arizona State Athletic Department in order for them to be more utilized, to be able to win games, to operate in modern day NIL and college athletics. That's a massive testament to Michael Crow. And yeah, BC, Michael Crow, you have to give him credit because he's continuing to invest in sports, and this turnaround is in part because of him. Now he needs to be consistent with it, and I think he's shown he will be, and I also think that this shows that the better your teams are, you see what type of fan support, what type of money you can make. You have to get him credit. And if he falls off, if he stops investing, if he changes his tune, or it feels like he's not caring about sports again, well, then I'll change my mind. But at this current moment, you hire Graham Rossini, even after a long layoff, the right guy. Fantastic move. Kenny Dillingham, right? After the debacle with Ray Anderson, the debacle with Herm Edwards, you come back with Kenny Dillingham, you come back with Graham Rossini, and now Bobby Hurley seemingly turning your basketball program around. Willie Bloomquist, a Sun Devil alum, a Sun Devil great leading your baseball program. Hockey continuing to move up the ranks to different conferences and continuing to compete under Coach Powers. It really is wonderful to see them taking this seriously and understanding the giant that Arizona State athletics could be. William, that's an interesting theory in the chat as well. And I'll talk a little bit of football right now. The Kenny Dillingham halftime speech was incredible. The College Football Playoff Committee is on crack, and the Sun Devils win and they get in. That's all I care about, really. If you want more football talk, I will be back on the show tomorrow. We're planning on having Cam Scadaboo on Thursday this week. We will let you guys know if anything changes with that as well. And then we've got so much more. We're flying to Dallas. You'll be having to tune in for vlogs, behind the scenes content. If you're part of our Die Hard Discord, we're going to send videos. We're going to send pictures. We're getting up bright and squirrely. 6 a.m. flight on a Friday morning. You excited for that, Captain Redbeard? Are you going to sleep the night before?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Sleep a little bit.
Sleep a little bit. Here's my thing, right? I got a Suns post game on Thursday night.
Yeah.
Wait. And by the way, everybody, Sharon mentions a birthday. Sharon, I don't know when your birthday is. Breaking news, Captain Redbeard's birthday is Thursday, December 5th. I learned this at our holiday party last night. Massive news.
I didn't want anyone to know.
This is the biggest week of your life, is it not?
It's up there, yeah. This is huge.
You want a tattoo at the beginning of this week. You're turning 1 year older. Just a fresh, spunky 19 years old for Captain Redbeard. Right,
Yep,
you're traveling to Dallas, Texas, the place of your birth. That's true. I mean, isn't that kind of poetic?
That is poetic.
You're going back to the place that you were born, relatively,
Yeah.
for your birthday. Sharon's birthday is also on Thursday, December 5th.
What?
Would you look at that? Of course, Sharon is the one who donated the Die Hard membership. All right, everybody, I want to remind you all that we are live so much this week. Make sure that you continue to follow along with everything at PHNX_Sun Devils. We are the place to be when it comes to covering ASU sports. Nobody does it like us because of you guys, because we involve all of you, because our diehards are so wonderful. Our diehard Discord is continuing to get bigger and bigger and bigger. it's so beautiful to see what this community is doing. Let's continue to rally around them, as well as your Arizona State Sun Devils beat the San Diego, I'm going to get right this time, Toreros. I almost said Totoro at the beginning of the show, and that's what messed me up, and that is a Studio Ghibli movie. Big shout out, deep cut reference here at 10:16. So I'm going to end it there. Again, you can follow the show at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow the man behind the Mac, making all the magic happen, sailing us to our wonderful destination in Dallas. That is Captain Redbeard at K Coop Sports. You can follow myself at ERIKRUBY. I will be back tomorrow at 1:30 Arizona time with Anthony _Totri on social medias, and I will be debunking every lie that he told on PHNX Sun Devils today. I'm coming for your throat tomorrow, Totri. You better get ready for it. And y'all better be there. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. 5 stars on everywhere that you listen to us on audio. Those likes. Oh, wait, you know what, William? You're right. I almost completely forgot. William, thank you. Can't close up, baby, without closing time. Kyle, cue the music. I forgot my final 3 takeaways because usually Anthony Totri does this, and I just cannot think for myself without Anthony Totri. If you're watching on TV, the fun always continues at gophnx.com, but here is closing time for everybody. Number 1, presented by Neutral, of course, keeping it tasty in Tempe. Enjoy responsibly. Number 1 for closing time is handled business, because that is exactly what the Sun Devils did today, dominating a lesser opponent in the fashion that they should have. Your takeaway number 2, Freshmen phenoms. Emphasis on the plural, as Jayden, Quaintance, and Joson Sanon continue to shine for an 8-1 Arizona State team. And that leads me to my final point, which is coming together. This team's getting better, gelling, playing better basketball every single time they step on the court, and that gets you excited for what could come next. As far as ASU basketball goes, that is December 14th, taking on the top 15 ranked Florida Gators. You can go ahead and follow us at all the places that I already mentioned, and you can tune in tomorrow at 1:30. But until then, go Devils and peace.
We all silly like the mayor.